Today I'm spilling the beans on how to make faux bark. This is probably the easiest method and with the most readily available supplies. So for this method, I like to use scrap cardboard. And first you take your cardboard and break all the spines. So I like to roll it up real tight. It's using the ridges in the cardboard for and against us. Like we're breaking it up a little bit, but we're also using it to give texture to the bark. So I'll break that up. For this particular piece, I'm going to make a hollow log, so it rolls up nice and tight. Then you want to make sure your edges aren't straight cut. That definitely helps with it looking a little more realistic. I couldn't tear it with all the tape on the back, so I had to take all the tape off. And then I'll just kind of rip up these outside edges so they're nice and jaggedy. Then I'll take some water and just regular white school glue, PVA glue, wood glue, and you mix it until it is about the consistency of paint. This is actually a little thin and I wind up adding some more glue. Then we'll take some paper towels or napkins and you want to peel off all of the edges so you get rid of that straight edge. You want to make sure that as you overlap, you get nice and creased, but you don't want to have a lot of straight edges. So I'm just going to fold that one straight edge into the inside you're not going to see. And I add more glue because it wasn't thick enough. You want it to be the consistency of paint. So thinner than glue, thicker than water. And just brush that on and lay them down. It's really easy. Try to keep your paper towels as creased as possible. But you want your creases to be irregular. That's the most important part, is the creases and wrinkles are very irregular. Here I'm using a napkin just to show you that you could use either. It's probably a little easier to use napkins because they absorb less water, they take less water and glue than paper towels. Paper towels absorb a lot of moisture. Just get rid of some of this excess, some of these straight lines. You can just let that sit outside to dry. It dries really fast in the sun. For this method of finishing, we're going to do a dry brush technique. So I want to start with the darkest color first. So I'll start with a deep, dark, blackish brown that I'll mix in. You want to mix it with a little bit of water so the paints are a little waterier than normal paint because this is paper towels and cardboard and they absorb a lot of water. So you want to add some water to this so it gets in all of the crevices. I'm also mixing my paint as I go. You don't want a real uniform color because trees are not uniform. These types of faux finishes also really destroy brushes, and it's helpful to use cheap brushes that you can really mash into the crevices and you don't mind if they get ratty and tatty. As a matter of fact, the rattier the brush, the better it is for this kind of thing. I save all my old brushes for tree stuff. You can see that texture is already picked up. It already looks like bark. Now I'll take my mid-tone color, and you want to make sure your brush is kind of dry. You wipe off some of the excess, and then you just run the brush laterally along the highs of the pattern. Like you want to keep that dark in the crevices. Just kind of fill in those midtones. This is a brush ruining technique for sure. So, crappy brushes only. That that's dry, I'm going to add a lighter color and just do the same thing. And as we do this, we're doing less and less color. So I'm using a very dry brush, and now I'm going to do it just on the highest ridges. I'm not going to get all over it like I did with the medium brown. I'm using yellow here mixed with the medium brown. Still running my brush laterally, just not as liberally. Sometimes it's easier to roll it up so you can really get in those ridges. I'm going to leave a card here where you can see a large scale application where I made a hollow tree stump. I decided this one needed a little bit more depth, so I added another color, another lighter, even lighter color. And I'm just going to put that on the very, very tips of the ridges. But really, you can stop wherever you want. Then you can paint the inside of this black, use it as a covering for something. You can roll these up and use them as fairy forest armor. It's got a lot of applications. Thanks for watching.